Hello and welcome to my rig rundown video. This is something that has been requested a lot and now my pedal board is finally finished. It will be my absolute pleasure to give you a guided tour of all of my stuff and sounds. So first of all, I thought I would tell you how this is being recorded. I'm going to go out of my guitar into my pedal board, out of my pedal board into the front of the amp, and then out of the back of the amp's DI into this, which is my M-Audio M-Track 2x2M interface, which is going into Cubase, which actually came free with the interface, so I've saved a bit of money there, which is always good. And I should probably mention that my amp is a Mark Bass Little Mark III, which is a 500 watt head, and I have two separate Traveller 2x10 cabs, but I'm only using one for this video because why would I set up my entire live rig in my bedroom? But I also think it's a good idea to record the sounds of the basses on their own first, and then I'll take you through the pedal board to show you exactly what each pedal does. So let's crack on then. First things first, I want to show you my most prized possession in my bass collection probably. This is my Sandberg Marlowe DK Signature bass, signed and everything by the man himself. And it's probably my most prized possession because if you didn't know, I actually won this bass back in 2012 in Sandberg Guitars' contest, which still to this day blows my mind, and I'm eternally grateful because this has served me so well. It came to a good home, alright, I've used it loads. So essentially what it is, and I hope Sandberg don't mind me saying this, it's pretty much a jazz bass, but the way I hear it really is it's not as bright as you might expect a jazz bass to be, which I actually prefer because I've never been a fan of like clinky tones. It's very warm, it's a little bit more, say if you've got both pickups on full, it's a little bit more towards the neck in terms of how it sounds, and I'll show you a few demos now. The next bass I want to show you is this. This is another Sandberg. It is my California VS Fretless. Essentially, they did such a good job with, you know, their version of a jazz bass in the Marlowe DK Signature that I was like, well, I wonder what they can do with regards to a P bass. And so I went on their website and they've got the configurator. I'll leave a link down below. And I got them to make me this, and it's outrageously nice. I'll show you a demo in a second, but I recently put these Galli Strings on. They are flat wounds with a nylon coating, I believe, and they feel fantastic. They've just sort of, I mean, this bass felt lovely as it is and it sounded great as it is, but the strings have just taken it to another level. I'm absolutely passionately in love with this thing, frankly. Next up is the Beast. This is the 5-string B to G, that is. It's a 5-string Marlowe Consat straight, which is now discontinued, so there's that. But it's a single coil and a humbucker. This switch changes this from the humbucker to a single coil, I believe. I might be wrong. Got active, passive, bass and treble, boost and cut, a pickup selection pan thingy, volume knob, and what seems to be like a mid-range boost. Again, Gerald, Mr. Marlowe, sir, if you're watching this and I'm wrong about that, I can only apologise. But as the bass has been discontinued, I can't correct myself, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, this bass is absolutely fantastic. Again, I love it dearly. I've owned it about 5.5 years now, maybe 6 years. And yeah, it's served me well. And it will continue to serve me well. And anyway, yeah, it sounds like this. Now this next bass is also very near and dear to me because it's actually the bass that I was playing when I won the Sandberg Contest. This is my 1992, I think, Yamaha TRB5P. It used to have a low B on it. It had a low B on it when I was, you know, when I recorded my EP and when I recorded my video for the Sandberg Contest. But now I have a high C on it because a lot of the times when I'm writing, I'll be playing chords, and this just gives me a little bit more range. And when I'm out gigging and it's just myself and a singer-songwriter called Molly Warburton, I often adopt the role of a keyboard player, sort of. So I'm just trying to fill a bit more space, and yeah, I play some more chordal stuff, and it's great for that, and it sounds like this. And the last bass I have to show you is this massive fatty. It's a Breedlove BJ350 CME4, which is a really elaborate and convoluted way of saying that it's a 4-string electroacoustic bass. Not a huge amount to say about it. I sort of bought it as a tool because it's always good to have an acoustic instrument in your armoury, I think. And you know, it feels great, sounds great, does exactly what it needs to do, and it sounds like this. Alright, let's get into the second part of this rig rundown, and welcome to my bedroom floor and welcome to my pedal board. Haha! The pedal board itself is a Warwick rock board. I always struggle to say that. Warwick rock board. I think it's the tall model, which is, it's not their biggest one, it's somewhere just past the middle size, I think. So that's all very exciting. Now, as for power, I have an MXR ISO brick up in this corner, which powers everything you see here apart from the MXR M300, I'll come back to that. But yeah, everything apart from that is powered by this, which is plugged into this surge protected 4-way that's mounted underneath. And this MXR reverb pedal is, it has quite a high milliamp draw, so it's got its own power supply that is also plugged into here, so I don't have any more work to do when it comes to setting up at gigs. Also, I have a kettle lead plugged into this for my amp, so when it comes to setting up at gigs, all I have to do is plug one plug into a wall or extension or whatever, and I'm ready to go, so that's handy. So I'm just going to stick with the Sandberg Marlowe DK for the purposes of this demo. Right, so the first pedal on the board is Boss TU3 tuner. It's just a really good tuner. It's a bit like an absolute tank. I've dropped it about 1,000,000 times and it's still working. It died for a little while, if you may remember seeing on my Instagram, but I don't know, it came back to life. It refuses to die. Anyway, so out of that I'm going into a hot tone comp, which is a very, very simple compressor, but it makes such a difference to my tone. I don't know if you guys have ever used this before, but this is the bass without it. And here's with. Just sort of brings that low end all nice and warm, takes a little bit of the top off, but it doesn't sort of cloud the tone, it just really makes it lush. And then out of this I am going into my volume pedal, which needs a clean on the inside. And then out of there I'm going into the Moore Fog, which is frankly, it's a disgusting fuzz bass sound. I'll just play it on its own. I'll put the compressor back on. So it's pretty rank actually. I mean, I'm not going to dance around it. You know, it's that sort of thing. You can barely hear any of the sort of nuances in your playing, especially because I've got this is, it says squeeze, but it's actually a gate. I've got it set really quite high so that if I play lightly, nothing comes through. So, but it actually starts to take on like synthy type qualities, which again I'll get back to in a minute. And then after this I've got the TC Sub and Up, which is, it's my newest pedal. I haven't had it very long, maybe about a week. Tracks better than any octave pedal I've ever heard before. It's also got the tone print stuff available. It's got 2 octaves. It's got 1 octave below and then 2 octaves below and an octave up. I'm not going to go through all that because that's an entirely different video. But I love this pedal. It's one of the most important ones on my board now because it comes in useful more often than you'd think. Now, after that I've got an Ensemble King from Moore, which is a chorus. Which again sounds lovely, but some of you may know that the Ensemble King is the guitar chorus. There's one called an Ensemble Queen, which is designed for bass. I didn't realise that until after I'd bought it, but hey, you know what, it still sounds good anyway, so I'm going to stick with it. So, after that, oops, just knocked the other camera. After that I've got another Moore pedal, quite like them if you haven't already worked out. This one's just a digital delay. You know, does that sort of thing. I like playing with it. That was the sound of me banging my bass. It's road worn, it's fine. So you know, like what I like to do is create melodies with the delay. You know, sort of play around in between the repeats. Anyway, and then out of the repeater delay I'm going into the NYXL M300, which I think is particularly good at the sort of extreme soundscapey reverb. It just goes on forever, it's absolutely beautiful. And it also has a pretty wicked shimmer reverb on there, which I think sounds best when you don't have it super loud, because it starts sounding a bit cheap. In fact, it's a nice segue because I have the MXR reverb going into an RV5 from Boss, which is another reverb, and I find if you combine the pad of this with quite a washed out modulated reverb, it softens it all up. Which sounds lovely. And then out of the Boss reverb I go into my Boss RC30 loop station. I'm not going to show you what the loop station does, you already know. Well, you probably already know anyway. If you don't, I'll leave a link to a couple of loop station videos I've already done on this channel. I've sat down now, I was getting pins and needles. Anyway, so that's my pedal board in terms of the signal chain. But while I'm here, I feel like I may as well show you one of my favourite sounds that I've managed to concoct. You may notice that I'm grinning. It's probably because I can't help but smile when I play this sound. It's just disgusting in all of the right ways. So we come back to the Moore Fog Fuzz Bass pedal, which is rank. Again, in all the right ways. And then coming out of that, the next thing I added was the chorus pedal, which I've just turned on. Which makes the bass sound even more like a synth than it did before. Makes the fuzz sound more like a synth than it did before, I mean. But it's a bit thin. I played it live for a laugh recently at a gig that wasn't very serious, frankly. Yeah, it just sort of lost all its low end and you couldn't even hear it. So that got me then to thinking, well, I need a sub pedal, don't I? And then shout out to Dan and Mick on that pedal show. You had a wicked video where you compared, I think it was 5 different octave pedals, and I landed on the sub and up being the one for me. So just a reminder, this is fuzz and chorus. But now, combined with the sub and up, you get that. So yeah, I have quite a crazy range of sounds to call up now, and frankly I don't think I could be happier with what I've got on there. So I'm going to stick with these for a while, see how we get on, and yeah, any updates, be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram and whatnot if I add any more pedals or change any out or whatever, but I don't think I will, not for a while anyway, although we always say that. I'm ranting now, rambling away as usual, but thank you very much for joining me on this rig rundown. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions that you know, I often forget to mention stuff, so if you've got any questions then feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Yeah, subscribe I guess if you like, you don't have to, but it'd be nice if you did, and I will see you next time.